Well, hello. My name is Angela Hooper Menifield, and this is your HR moment from Menifield and Associates. Today is Friday, March the 6th, 2020. My apologies for not making our Wednesday video. I was actually attending my uncle's funeral on Wednesday, and the time just got away from me. But I appreciate you guys checking on me to see where I am because I really try hard to stay consistent with my Monday, Wednesday, Friday updates. So I am back in Jersey. It was gone about 12 days, so probably the longest period of time I've been away for personal reasons for a minute, but it's always good to be back and to be back with you. So today I'm doing a follow-up based on some questions I got on a video a couple of weeks ago because people were trying to understand clearly like what is a hostile work environment and what are some examples of that. So first, let's just start a little bit with what is the definition of a hostile work environment. And basically, it's when a person's behavior within the workplace creates an environment that, for others that is difficult or uncomfortable. Now, oftentimes, hostile work environments are attached to discrimination. So what do we mean by that? So for instance, if the hostility is based on some type of protected classification. So for instance, if the environment is hostile towards me because there are jokes about women or, type of catcalling type things. So it can also be in the line of sexual harassment, but it's also creating hostility. I have been on some, even as an independent contractor, some calls with other people in my specialty and witnessed and observed some people making, quote unquote, blonde jokes, right? And calling a couple of the ladies less than intelligent because of them being blonde. And over time, I heard it a couple of times and I was like, okay, this has to stop. And so I said something and one of the ladies approached me and thanked me because for her, it was creating hostility. And of course, knowing the HR lane, I knew this was an appropriate conversation. And I think sometimes, especially with independent contractors, we forget or can forget that we are held compliant to those policies. Now, typically when we talk about a hostile work environment, one incident does not a hostile work environment make in general. Now, again, if it's pervasive and it's definitely something that is so egregious, it could, but those would be some extreme circumstances. So if someone says something one time, very seldom will that be the basis for deciding that the work environment was hostile. And then we also use that reasonable person framework, right? Would a reasonable person be offended? So a perfect example of this was, I remember once when I was in DC working, I was told that a person said to his female peer out to dinner that she probably shouldn't get seconds or something like that. And it was interpreted by her that he was making comments about her weight or something of that nature because she was a woman and therefore said it was a hostile work environment. And that claim was not proven to be such. It doesn't mean the comment shouldn't have been made, but a standalone comment like that did not justify, again, the claim of hostile work environment. And so sometimes the hostility is a byproduct of someone speaking up for themselves, doing a whistleblower complaint, or participating in some type of protected activity. So now you may say, okay, well, that's clear, but what are some examples of hostility then, if you said those aren't? So one time I was accused actually of creating a hostile work environment. And the person alleged that I had pointed my fingers while talking to them. So in other words, said I had done this. Well, I'm not a finger pointer, so I did not believe it was true, and there was no evidence that it was true. But it was enough to launch an investigation. Sometimes being close up in a person's face, raising your voice, highly animated, maybe standing and talking with your fist clenched, These could be some examples of hostile work environment. Tone is really important. Some of us are highly animated, and so we have to be really careful that our behavior is not perceived as hostile. But if someone tells us that, even if we're not aware, we should pay attention, right? Because I'm not trying to say people can't be who they are, but what I am saying is if who you are, hey, Damien, how are you? If who you are creates hostility for other people, be cognizant of that. Listen to what people tell you, and then also have other people that you can depend on in order for them to tell you what may or may not be, getting close to that line. People leaving your office in tears, feeling berated, yelling at people. Profanity is definitely one of those things. Now, those of you who know me know I don't use profanity. I don't condone profanity. I don't tell other people what to do, but I will say this. It's not to be used in the workplace. And I think we have to be cognizant of that. And a lot of us think it's okay. We think at least certain words are okay. But because you don't know who the other person is, be cognizant of that. I tend to tell people I prefer that you not use profanity with me or in my presence. I have found that to be effective. I've never had to file a complaint because someone wouldn't stop. But be cognizant of those things. So that would be an example, again, of a hostile work environment. A person who has asked you to stop using profanity, whether it's in their presence or directly to them, and you don't do that. So that's another example of that. So in other words, we want to create as supervisors, leaders, managers, we want to create environments where people feel safe, where they feel as if they have the ability to express themselves, again, not be yelled at, talked to in a degrading way, and or, like I said, for me, it's very much the case. Do not use profanity with me. That's just how I'm built. And I actually ask that you don't even use it in my presence. Again, that's how I'm built. So when we think about a hostile work environment, it's clear that one, you're doing the training that you need to do. Hey, you're doing the training that you need to do, as well as finding out what types of things bother your employees, and having a code, right? Like, so if there's something you say is against the rules in your organization, then don't you be complicit of breaking those rules. So those are just a few examples of a hostile work environment. I love to hear some of the ones that you guys may have. So feel free to post in the comments, things you've experienced, witnessed. Again, I've seen people berated, cursed out, yelled at. Had one guy, he used to throw things through a garbage can. Hello, how are you? I can't see the name. I don't have my glasses on. But so there's different iterations of what that looks like. But at the end of the day, we want to always remember the reasonable person standard. Would a reasonable person find this behavior inappropriate, egregious, or make them uncomfortable? And people, of course, have to prove that discomfort, right? So some of the ways they do that is by talking to other people about it. Perhaps they go see a doctor. I've known people to be taken off work because they say their work environment is too stressful. So how we talk to people really matters. So again, I appreciate you guys watching today. Hopefully you've had a great week. Again, my name is Angela Hooper Menifield, and this has been your HR Moment with Menifield and Associates. Feel free to jump on my YouTube page if you missed past videos, or my business page. Looking forward to working with you in the future. And again, post your comments. Let's hear about what's been happening, either directly to you if you've observed, but I love to hear some examples of what you all have experienced when it pertains to hostility in the workplace. Have a great weekend, and until Monday, talk to you soon. Bye.